Artificial intelligence promises objectivity and efficiency, but what happens when the data it learns from carries human bias? In this video, we explore the hidden flaws in AI algorithms that can lead to unfair decisions in hiring, policing, healthcare, and more. From the causes rooted in skewed data to the real-world impacts on marginalized communities, algorithmic bias is a growing concern with serious consequences. But it's not all doom and gloom. Solutions are emerging. Join us as we break down how bias creeps into AI, why it matters, and what can be done to build fairer, more ethical technology. Today, we will talk about bias in AI algorithms, causes, impacts, and solutions. So before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, also subscribe to my channel. Where ad bias comes from, bias in AI doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It has roots in the way systems are designed, the data they are trained on, and the assumptions made by the people who build them. One of the biggest sources of bias is the training data itself. AI learns patterns from large datasets. If that data is incomplete, unbalanced, or skewed towards certain groups, the AI will learn and replicate those patterns. For example, if an AI is trained on medical data that underrepresents women, it may not perform as well when diagnosing female patients. If it's trained on hiring data from companies that historically favored male applicants, it may learn to favor similar resumes. The AI is not making decisions based on fairness. It's making decisions based on patterns it sees in the data, patterns that often reflect historical inequalities. Bias can also come from how the problem is framed. If developers choose to optimize for efficiency without considering equity, they might create systems that work well for the majority but poorly for minorities. If they use proxy variables, like zip code as a stand-in for creditworthiness, they may unintentionally bake in racial or socioeconomic bias. And even the labeling of data can introduce bias, especially when human annotators make subjective judgments about content, tone, or sentiment. Then there's the issue of who is building the AI. The tech industry has long struggled with diversity. When development teams lack a wide range of perspectives, they're more likely to overlook blind spots, fail to test for fairness, and miss the cultural nuances that affect performance across different populations. In short, the absence of diversity in AI development can lead directly to bias in AI outcomes. How bias manifests in the real world. Once biased algorithms are deployed, they can have real and lasting effects on people's lives. In hiring, for example, algorithms might rank applicants based on resumes that match the language or structure of previous hires, unintentionally favoring certain demographics while filtering out others. Candidates from non-traditional backgrounds might never even get an interview, not because they aren't qualified, but because the algorithm didn't recognize their potential. In law enforcement, predictive policing tools use historical crime data to forecast where crimes are likely to occur. But if that data reflects over-policing in certain neighborhoods, the algorithm will keep sending police back to those same areas, creating a feedback loop of surveillance and mistrust. In the financial sector, algorithms are used to assess creditworthiness, determine loan approvals, and set interest rates. If these systems rely on biased data, they can perpetuate financial exclusion for entire communities. And because these decisions are made by machines, they're often seen as objective, even when the outcomes are anything but fair. Healthcare is another area where bias can be especially dangerous. AI tools are increasingly used to diagnose diseases, recommend treatments, and prioritize care. But if those tools are trained on data from predominantly white or affluent patients, they may fail to accurately assess risks in patients from other backgrounds. This can lead to misdiagnosis, delayed treatment, digital life. Bias shows up. Search engines can return biased results. Social media algorithms can reinforce stereotypes. Voice assistants may struggle to understand certain accents. And image recognition software may label people incorrectly based on their race or gender. The harm is not just technical. It's deeply personal. The hidden costs of biased AI. The impacts of AI bias go far beyond inconvenience or technical error. They touch on issues of justice, dignity, and human rights. When people are misclassified, excluded, or unfairly judged by machines, it can affect their careers, their health, their safety, and their future. And because these systems operate at scale, the harms can be widespread and difficult to reverse. A single biased algorithm can affect thousands or millions of decisions, and once deployed, AI systems often lack transparency. People may not even know they've been impacted, and if they do, they may have little recourse. This lack of accountability is a major concern. In many cases, it's not clear how decisions were made, what data was used, or whether bias was even considered during development. Without clear standards, oversight, and transparency, biased AI systems can operate unchecked, amplifying inequality while hiding behind the myth of objectivity. The cost is not just social, it's economic. Biased AI can lead to poor decisions, reputational damage, legal challenges, and loss of trust. Companies that fail to address bias risk alienating customers, employees, and regulators. In the long run, ethical and inclusive AI isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. Solutions for a fairer future. Fixing AI bias is not easy, but it is possible. The first step is awareness, acknowledging that bias exists and taking it seriously. AI should not be treated as neutral or infallible. It must be questioned, tested, and held to high ethical standards. One of the most powerful tools in reducing bias is better data. That means collecting more diverse, representative, and inclusive data sets. It means examining data for hidden assumptions, correcting imbalances, and being transparent about limitations. Diverse data leads to more equitable outcomes. Developers must also adopt ethical design principles. That includes building fairness audits into the development process, testing models for bias before deployment, and involving ethicists, social scientists, and affected communities in decision-making. Inclusive design means thinking about everyone, not just the majority. Transparency is also key. People need to understand how AI systems work, what data they use, and how decisions are made. Explainable AI, where the reasoning behind decisions is made clear, can help build trust and enable accountability. If someone is denied a job, a loan, or medical care, they deserve to know why. Finally, there must be regulation and oversight. Governments, industry bodies, and civil society all have a role to play in setting standards, enforcing rules, and ensuring that AI serves the public good. Ethical guidelines, impact assessments, and redress mechanisms can help ensure that AI systems are used responsibly. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.